the story of the day, and I think on everybody's mind is what's the future going to hold for Bryce Harper.
Oh my, look where it hits.
34 home runs, 100 RBIs, 101 runs scored, 6-time All-Star, 2015 National League Most Valuable Player.
For an individual player, thinking it's going to be the biggest story at the offseason.
Bryce moves the needle, man.
Fastball, that ball is absolutely crushed.
We don't know, he doesn't know, but time will tell.
Guys, real quick before we start the video, I have a very important question to ask you guys. Is this the greatest gum in the history of mankind? And if not, let me know. What is your favorite gum to chew when you're playing baseball? It's got to be Big League Chew for me. There's a bunch of different flavors. You could go with green apple, you could go with the blue one, the purple kind. What's the best one? What's going on, guys? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another baseball video. I am going to have the most fun of my entire life in this video. The reason why is because the Bryce Harper sweepstakes are still going on. It is 2019. He has not signed. There are a bunch of stories coming out from Washington saying that the Nationals have just offered him a 10-year, $300+ million contract. So they've already offered him that. So if they're going to offer him a second contract, man, it's got to be worth $350 to $400 million. So what we're going to do right now is we are going to talk about the top 5 teams that need Bryce Harper. Now, I don't need that want Bryce Harper, that physically need him to make the World Series. I am really sorry if you guys are Orioles fans, if you guys are Padres fans, if you guys are Tigers fans. I don't think that Bryce Harper is going to... Now, don't get me wrong. You guys have a great fan base and everything like that, and you guys are doing great. But Bryce Harper, even if he goes to those teams, not going to make a difference. So really, we're going to talk about playoff-bound teams from 2018, because if he joins them, man, they're going to make some noise in 2019. Also, we are getting so close to 60,000 subscribers, so if you do enjoy baseball content, make sure you guys hit that sub button. Make sure you slap a like on this video. Without further ado, we're going to talk about the #1 team that needs Bryce Harper going into the 2019 Major League Baseball season. So as you guys can see on the beautiful screen in front of you, whether you're watching on a computer or a phone, it does not matter. We are looking at the 2019 depth chart for the Cleveland Indians, and if you take a look at the outfield, what's going on? What's going on with the Indians? I have no idea what they are doing. First and foremost, we got swept by the Astros, okay? And our best outfielder, Michael Brantley, just signed a 3-year deal with the Astros. So we're already off to a terrible start going into next year. But guys, let me focus on the task at hand. This was verified January 5th of 2009. So it was verified today. So this is the most up-to-date depth chart that you can find on the internet. In left field, you have someone named Jordan LaPlow. All right, so maybe you've never heard of Jordan LaPlow. Maybe he's an up-and-coming prospect. Maybe he's the next Bryce Harper. Maybe we don't need him. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and check out my man's stats and see if he can replace him. So he's got a nice little picture right there. So he's destined to be a star in Major League Baseball. So in 2018, in 92 at-bats, he had a 185 average. And then if we go down to, his 2017 stats with Pittsburgh, in 27 games, he hit 205. So 205 followed by a 185 with a grand total of a 194 batting average in 64 games. Maybe if we were signing Chris Davis, that would be an improvement, but I don't think that this guy stacks up to Bryce Harper, but maybe that's just me. He's 25. But if we take a look at the rest of our outfield, we have Leonys Martin in center field. When he's on his game, he's pretty good, but last year, unfortunately, he did come down with an illness, so I'm not sure if he's going to be back to playing 150 to 145, maybe even 100 games in 2019. And then out in right field, we have Mr. Choke Job himself, Tyler Naquin, who struck out pretty much every single at-bat in the World Series a couple years back. So for right now, I would say you guys can admit, look at our team. Look at, when I say ours, because I'm an Indians fan, we have Jose Ramirez at third base, stud. We have Francisco Lindor at shortstop. These are two of the top players in all of baseball. If we take a look at the rotation, Corey Kluber, Carlos Carrasco, Trevor Bauer. When you have Trevor Bauer as your number 3 starter, followed by Mike Clevenger, that's a very good rotation. Our bullpen needs some work as well. But if we're just talking about a team that needs Bryce Harper the most, and what I'm going to do after I bring up all of these different teams is I'm going to go to a screen where I show the projected lineup. And if I show you guys this lineup right now, yeah, it would be pretty filthy, especially with Jose Ramirez and Francisco Lindor. Yeah, the Indians, they'd be primed to get a chip. Rumors have been flying. We all know that the Phillies, the Cubs, the Dodgers, and the Yankees, also the Nationals, they're all trying to get Bryce Harper on their squad. Now, the Phillies a couple weeks ago, they signed Andrew McCutchen, so they're trying to brace for impact just in case Bryce does not sign with the Phillies. But if we take a look at their team, they are so close to having the final piece, which is Bryce Harper. Their outfield consists of Andrew McCutchen out in left field. You have Odubel Herrera, who is a pretty solid player, in my opinion, out in center field. And then in right field, the biggest hole is Nick Williams. Don't get me wrong, wrong, Nick Williams is a pretty decent player. I think that he's more of a bench player and a platoon player. In 407 at-bats, he had 104 hits, 17 home runs, 50 RBIs, 3 stolen bases to go along with a 256 batting average and a 749 OPS. So league average for OPS is about 750. So he's an average hitter, but if you can replace Nick Williams with Bryce Harper, my gosh. They also traded for Gene Segura a few months back. So when you have Gene Segura at the top of your order, Michael Franco, Cesar Hernandez is all right. Rhys Hoskins, Jorge Alfaro is not going to do anything with the bat. But if you put Bryce Harper in this lineup, I'm going to show you guys in just a second. The Phillies, they instantly become a World Series favorite going into 2019. That's just my opinion. Are they going to be able to sign him? I would say they have a good chance because they have the payroll. I would say even though that the Indians are the #1 team in terms of they need Bryce Harper, they're a small market team. Not a lot of people go to Indians games, so I don't think they're going to. So Phillies, at this point, I would say have a better chance to sign Bryce Harper over the Indians. But take a look at their lineup if Bryce Harper would sign with them. I made a video a few weeks back talking about how I pretty much confirmed that Bryce Harper was going to the LA Dodgers. The reason why I said this is because they traded Matt Kemp and Yasiel Puig, 2 stud outfielders for them, to the Cincinnati Reds in exchange for Homer Bailey. And what did they do? They dropped and released Homer Bailey. So they pretty much just did a salary dump. So in my opinion, in my head, I'm thinking they have Alex Verdugo, a prospect. So he is trade bait right now. If they can trade Alex Verdugo for Trevor Bauer or Carlos Carrasco and then use all of that extra salary cap to sign Bryce Harper, if you plug him in for Chris Taylor, maybe put Chris Taylor over at second base, because I don't think Kike Hernandez is as good as Chris Taylor, that's a scary lineup. Oh my gosh, just thinking about it right now. And also the fact that they have Kenley Jansen, Pedro Baez, they just signed Joe Kelly. Their rotation is Kershaw, Walker Buehler, Ryu, Hill, Stripling, Maeda. I mean, that's not terrible. So if the Dodgers can get Bryce Harper on their squad and in the mix of their lineup, let me show you right now, because you guys should be scared. Very, very, very scared, especially if they're able to trade for a starting pitcher with the likes of Kluber or Bauer, who both had Cy Young caliber seasons last year in 2018. If they can add them to the mix with the 1-2-3 punch of Kershaw, Buehler, and Bauer, and then also factor in Bryce Harper in right field, you are not going to want to mess with the Dodgers this year. I don't care that they've lost 2 straight World Series in a row. They're not going to be reckoned with. So in my opinion, the #4 team that needs Bryce Harper, the reason why I say they don't really need him as much as the other teams is because they pretty much played 2018 without Chris Bryant. And if we take a look at Chris Bryant's career, so if we go to his stats down here, 2015, his rookie year, he had 26 home runs, 99 RBIs, and 275. His MVP season, he had a 292 batting average with 39 home runs and 102 RBIs. We can see that in 2018, he did play in 102 games, but he had a down year, 13 home runs, 52 RBIs, and a 272 batting average. So I think when he's back and he's going to be healthy, the Cubs are going to be a whole lot better. The one thing I would say is if Kyle Schwarber can repeat last year, again, that's why they might not need Bryce Harper as much. But the biggest bugaboo about the Cubs is this man right here, Jason Hayward. Now, Jason Hayward, don't get me wrong, he is one of the best defensive outfielders that I have ever seen. But with the bat, he does not get it done. I think he has a 600 OPS to a 700 OPS the last couple years. So imagine if you could get Bryce Harper in right field, maybe even ship off Kyle Schwarber, keep Jason Hayward, maybe put Bryce Harper in left field, see how that goes. Because if you can keep Jason Hayward or Kyle Schwarber, I think you have to trade one of them just to open up some salary cap, open up space in the outfield. Let me show you guys this lineup because, oh my gosh. Now, the rotation is something that we have to keep in mind because Kyle Hendricks, I know he had a really good year in 2016, but hasn't been the same since then. John Lester, Cole Hamels, Yu Darvish is not getting any younger. Jose Quintana is their #6, so that's not bad. Their bullpen is pretty solid. They have Brandon Morrow, who missed a lot of time last year. They had a lot of injuries in 2018, so if the Cubs, if they can plug in Bryce Harper to the lineup, I'm going to show you right now. Again, just like the Dodgers, they're one player away. Actually, just like the Indians and the Phillies as well. Every team that we're talking about right now is pretty much one bat and one outfielder away from becoming a World Series favorite. So if the Cubs can get him on their hands, watch out. And then last but not least, we are talking about the Washington Nationals. The reason why I want to bring them up is because he's always been with the Nationals, and it's going to be weird to see Bryce Harper in a different uniform if he does choose to sign with someone else. The reason why I put them at number 5 is because they actually have a pretty solid squad. In right field, they have Adam Eaton, who was injured for most of 2018. They have a young prospect named Victor Robles, which I don't know if you guys have ever seen this man's highlights. I'll probably show you guys in just a second, but this man is a stud. And then we all know out in left field, Juan Soto had one of the best teenager seasons in the history of baseball. I'm not just talking about in recent memory. I'm talking since Abner Doubleday created baseball, whether you think he did or not. Juan Soto is up there with Ken Griffey Jr. and all of the other teenagers in history to have just one of the best overall seasons ever. So with the fact that they have Juan Soto, Victor Robles, they are both young guns. Adam Eaton in right field is not a bad option. Now the rest of their lineup is pretty tough. I mean, you do have Trey Turner, Anthony Rendon had a really good season, Wilmer Difo is alright, Ryan Zimmerman is not getting any younger. They just signed Kurt Suzuki. I'm not sure why they don't have Yan Gomes over here, but when you have a rotation of Max Scherzer, Steven Strasburg, Patrick Corbin, and Anibal Sanchez, if you can get Bryce Harper in this outfield, I'm telling you guys, I know they've been a bust and they've been such a disappointment the last few years. If they can retain Bryce Harper for like 350 to 380 million, I know that's a lot of money, but that honestly is a stacked team. So guys, the way that we're going to wrap this up is I am quickly going to rank who I think is going to sign Bryce Harper, who has the best chances. So now we're going to factor in salary cap, everything like that. We're going to go from the worst teams to the best things. So coming in at number 5, we're going to flip-flop. So I said the Indians, they need him the most. And I think after you guys saw the depth chart, I think you guys can agree that if the Indians had Bryce Harper on their team, whether or not we have the salary cap or not, that is absolutely insane. That lineup would be stupid. But I think they're the number 5 team because they do not have the market. They don't have the money. I think coming in at number 4 would be the Nationals, because I just think that he's destined to leave. Coming in at number 3, I am going to go with the Philadelphia Phillies. I just think that they have a pretty decent outfield already. They have the cap space. They missed out on Patrick Corbin, so they are still trying to sign a big fish. Coming in at number 2, we're going to go with the Chicago Cubs because they don't have the cap space, but if they can trade Kyle Schwarber or Jason Hayward and unload their contracts, that would be perfect. Chris Bryant, a Las Vegas boy. Bryce Harper, a Las Vegas boy. Chris Bryant, healthy. Bryce Harper back and healthy. That lineup, especially with Javier Baez and Ben Zobrist and all the other players that they have on their team, yeah, the Cubs would be, oof, that'd be tough. And then the number 1 team, in my opinion, that I think is going to sign Bryce Harper is still going to be the LA Dodgers. Again, the reason why is because they don't have an outfield really right now. Yes, Cody Bellinger can play first base and center field. Chris Taylor is not really an outfielder. I think he's more of like a second baseman type. You have Jock Pederson or Peterson, however you say it, out in left field. So I think if you can move Chris Taylor to left field, maybe ship off Jock Peterson or keep him on the bench for a platoon, put Bryce Harper in right field. They have the cap space now, so they're not going to get penalized up the butt. So yeah, I would say Dodgers are your number 1 team. So guys, if you agree with me, let me know in the comment section down below. If you disagree with me, let me know in a civil matter. It's nothing personal. You guys get really personal. Some of you guys call me stupid and idiot and dummy. It's not personal. It's baseball. It's a lot of fun. So guys, thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you did enjoy. If you did, slap a like on this one, subscribe, because we're getting so close to 60,000 subs. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. We're probably going to talk about Manny Machado next. So if you guys have any opinions on that, let me know in the comment section down below. And I'll see you guys later. Peace out.